Hey guys, this is Podcast Diaries, and this is Neka Agnes Wachiku. Today is February 21st. It's about to be 22nd of February. It's about to be February 22nd. Today is actually February 21st. It's 11:56 p.m. And this is Podcast Diaries number 16. And today is actually a live podcast. Today is actually going to be about the worth of women. And what I mean by the worth of women, what I mean is, I was recently watching, a few minutes ago, I was watching a video on YouTube, IUIC. They're talking about how Kevin Samuels, stated that, once you hit 30 years old as a woman, your value decreases. Kevin Samuels, I'm not afraid to say his name out loud. Kevin Samuels. I have no beef with him. I don't know who he is. I don't have any issues with this man. But this man stated that when a woman reaches 30, her value decreases because, by that age, it's more at risk to have kids. Once you start getting up there in your 30s, it starts to become a risk to have children for your husband, right? And of course, by that age, most men think that a woman has been ran through. This is my comment. This is my response for that comment. Just because a woman is in her 30s and not married or don't have a man, that doesn't mean she's ran through. That doesn't mean she has less value. You have to keep an open mind. You have to think outside the box. That comment does not apply to all women. You cannot say that by age 30 you have no value. All women, we have value, whether we're 1 year old or whether we're 100 years old. We all have value in some type of way. What I mean by that is, whether you're a baby, a little girl that's a baby, you have a value. You have a value to life. You know what I'm saying? Your parents, they love you. They brought you into this world. God created you so that you could be an asset to society. Once you hit, a certain age, once you get grown, you start to learn different things about the world. You start to learn society. And it might get to a point where you might get to 30 years old, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and you still are not married and don't have no kids. Does that mean you don't have any value? Does that mean you've been ran through? No. And my response to that is this. There's another video where a video vixen, she's I would just say she's a sex worker. She's an adult. She works in the adult film industry, and she claims she's had 2,000 bodies. Now, mind you, this woman is younger than me. I'm in my 30s. I'm responding to this because I'm in my 30s, and I feel offended because it's like, how can you say that at my age I don't have any value, but yet you have a woman that's younger than me that works in the adult industry? I don't work in the adult industry, have never worked in the adult industry, have never been a sex worker, have never been paid for sex, and will never do that. But you have a woman that's younger than me that has 2,000 bodies on her. 2,000. That's 2,000 spirits that's in her. Now, going back to the IUIC video that I was watching, Israelites United in Christ that I was watching, they were responding to this. And they were saying that, with her having 2,000 bodies on her, that means she has different spirits on her that she has to work through before she actually is ready to get married. Now, you can't say that a woman that's older than her has no value. A woman that's in her 40s that wants to settle down, she has no value. She's ran through. But yet you have a woman that's younger than her that has 2,000 bodies and probably has more, because you have to understand, if you have slept with 2,000 people, you're still having sex. Like, I don't even believe 2,000 is all she has on her. And I'm not judging her, but it's just the truth. The truth is, when someone is claiming 2,000 bodies on them, they're still probably having sex. Because by 2,000, by that point, you don't even care. Like, it's nothing to you. It's just, it's money. By that time, you're receiving money. Like, she's probably receiving large sum of income for having those bodies on her. You have to understand, like, I don't know what her name is, but she is well known, and she works in the adult film industry. That's how she makes her money, from filming, from having sex on camera. So she's probably still having sex. So with that being said, if a woman is younger in her 20s, she's in her 20s, you mean to tell me she has more value than me? I'm celibate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing nothing. So you mean to tell me she has more value than me? Just because she's younger? It has nothing to do with age. What it has to do with is morals, values, and what you bring to the table. And I feel like age should not be, a woman's value should not be determined based off her age. I mean, I'm not judging this young woman, but you have to understand, my response to this is, I'm not going to talk too long about this, but for Podcast Diary 16, this is just a response to Kevin Samuels' video. Women 30 and older don't have less value than women in their 20s and teens just because they're older. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, younger women have sex too. Just because a woman is younger, that doesn't mean she hasn't been ran through. So you cannot make that statement and believe it applies to all women 30 and older. Like, there are women over 30 who have never had sex. So what do you say to that? There's women who have never had sex, who are virgins. Then you got older women who possibly have only had 2 partners in their life. So you can't sit here and say that a woman 30 and above has less value than a woman in her 20s or teenage years because she's older, and having a baby is more of a risk. It's not just about the baby. It's about, what does she bring to the table? It's about her spirit. It's about her aura. It's about her energy as a woman. It's about her spirit. Like I said, her spirit. Does she have a clean spirit? You gotta think about it. If a younger woman is ran through and she got all these spirits in her, or she could be older and she might have a lot of bodies on her, she got all these spirits in her, what value is she gonna bring to the man? You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about stuff like that. So you have to think outside the box. That comment does not apply to everyone. So I'm not even really offended. It's just more of like, I'm bringing light to this statement to let women understand, and even men too, like, that statement is not a valid statement, because just because a woman is 30 and over does not mean she does not have any value, or she's not an asset to society because she's older. No, what it means, what that statement should only apply to women who continuously keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again with the wrong men and end up with nothing. Now, if you're trying to get your life together, you're trying to, walk in Christ, and you're trying to clean your life up, and you want to meet the right man, a man of God, then that's totally different. But you can't say, a woman in her 40s or a woman in her 30s and 40s and 50s, she doesn't have any value because she's older. No. You can be in your 50s and look way better in your 50s than you did in your 20s. You could be 50 years old and look better than a woman in her 20s. Or it's not even about just looks. It's just about, her spirit. Is she healthy? Is she clean? You know what I'm saying? Does she care about life? Does she care about, her man? Does she care about love still? Does she still have love in her heart? It's easier said than done, because, there's a lot of wicked stuff in this world that sometimes it can, turn your heart, but you got to try to control that. And that's what I'm trying to do. So with that being said, I'm not trying to say no more about this and go on about this and say too much. Just because you're 30 and above does not mean you have less value in this world. No matter what age you are, always do the right thing. Bottom line, that's the answer. Always try to do the right thing, no matter what age you are, whether you're a little kid, a teenager, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, no matter how old you are, always do the right thing. Good night and stay blessed.